Stop lying to yourself. You didn't accidentally let them see you stumble. You chose this. You're standing in line at a coffee shop or sitting in a boardroom, and you're doing that pathetic thing humans do. You're performing. You're checking your watch too often to look important, or you're smiling at strangers to look approachable. It's adorable, really. You think you're building rapport? In reality, you're just a gambler showing his cards to the dealer and wondering why the house always wins. Being approachable is just a polite way of saying you have lowered the drawbridge and invited the scavengers into the throne room. You've been taught that being authentic is a virtue. It's not. In public, authenticity is just a lack of budget for a better mask. You've sacrificed your sovereignty for the warm, fuzzy feeling of belonging. And now you're wondering why no one respects the boundaries you never bothered to build. Most people walk through the world like open books. But have you noticed? People only read books they plan on eventually throwing away. Today, we close the book. I'm giving you a forbidden blueprint. 5 things you must never, under any circumstances, do in public. These aren't etiquette tips. They are survival strategies for the few who would rather be feared than liked. Pay close attention to the 5th law. It's the most volatile. It's the mistake that turns a king into a carcass in under 60 seconds. Let's see if you have the stomach to stop being a nice guy and start being an architect. 1. The curse of the busy man. Displaying effort. Machiavelli understood that power is a theater, and in theater, the audience should never see the stagehands sweating. He championed the concept of sprezzatura, the art of performing the impossible, as if it were a mere afterthought. He knew that the moment you reveal how hard you're working, you stop being a master and start being a servant. You aren't dedicated. You're just struggling to keep your head above water. But look at you. You've been fed the modern lie that the hustle is a virtue. You believe that if you appear busy in public, the world will reward you with respect. You take calls in elevators. You type furiously on your laptop in coffee shops. And you sigh loudly over your crushing workload while waiting for a flight. You want everyone to see the steam coming off your engine? It's a fascinating delusion. You think you look like a CEO? In reality, you look like an intern who's about to have a breakdown over a spreadsheet. Showing people your hustler is like a magician explaining the trapdoor before the rabbit comes out of the hat. It doesn't make the trick better. It just makes you look like a fraud who's terrified of being caught. Being swamped isn't a status symbol. It's a confession that you're losing a fight with a clock. Let's talk about the invisible grief you're carrying. The profound emotional price of this performance. You are sacrificing your authenticity for the shallowest form of belonging. This is what we call the sacrifice of the sovereign. You feel a constant, knowing anxiety that if you aren't seen doing, you will cease to be. You've developed a fear of rest, because, to you, stillness looks like obsolete. You are haunted by the fear of judgment, the fear that if people see you sitting quietly, they'll realize you aren't indispensable. So, you create a cacophony of movement. You've turned your life into a series of complex, frantic moments, because you're terrified of the simplicity of power. You're like a child spinning in circles to get dizzy, just so you can feel like something is happening. This is the grief of the cog, the silent realization that you've traded your soul for a reputation of being reliable. And reliable is just a nice word for a tool that hasn't broken yet. Why do you do it? Because you're weak. You're too weak to sit with your own thoughts, and you're too weak to let people think you might be idle. You think your virtuous work ethic is a shield? It isn't. It's a target. When you display effort, you are providing a roadmap of your limits. You are showing your competitors exactly how much weight it takes to break your back. In the animal kingdom, the predator doesn't announce how long it spent tracking the prey. It doesn't complain about the calories burned or the miles traveled. It simply kills. Only the prey makes noise. Only the prey tries to look bigger and busier than it actually is. The strategic law is this. The only currency is results. The cost must remain a state secret. If you want to outsmart the manipulators of the world, you must become a black hole of information. In public, your movement should be minimal, and your results should be absolute. When you deliver a masterpiece, let them assume it took you 5 minutes over a glass of scotch, even if it took you 5 months in a windowless room. The less they know about your process, the more they will fear your potential. Effort is the smell of the kitchen. Power is the taste of the meal. Never invite the public to see the blood on the floor, just to invite them to admire the feast. You see, showing your struggle is like showing your cards in a game of poker, because you want the table to know how hard you tried to get a good hand. It doesn't matter how hard you tried. You still lost. And now, they know how to beat you next time. Stop being the horse that's proud of its harness. If you want to be the one holding the reins, you need to learn the art of the invisible grind. Work like a slave in private, so you can rule like a king in public. Silence isn't just golden, it's a tactical advantage. Are you beginning to see the bars of the cage you built for yourself? Or are you still too busy checking your watch to notice the door is unlocked? 2. The open wound. Public emotional vulnerability. Balthasar Gracian once noted that a person's points of sensitivity are the ports of entry to their soul. He knew that once you reveal where you can be hurt, you have effectively handed the world a map of your fortifications. To Gracian, an emotional outburst wasn't a release. It was a security breach. It was the moment the fortress gate swung open because the sentry got too tired to keep pretending. But look at the world around you. We live in the age of radical transparency. You've been told that being vulnerable is a sign of strength. You believe that if you show your pain in public, if you cry at your desk, vent your frustrations on a park bench, or post a tearful confession to your community, you are being brave. You think you're connecting with people. It's a charming lie, isn't it? You think you're showing your humanity. But in the eyes of a predator, you're just showing your expiration date. Public vulnerability is like a wounded animal bleeding in a pool of sharks. It doesn't inspire empathy. It triggers a feeding frenzy. You aren't being brave. You're just being a target who's too lazy to wear armor. You've confused being heard with being handled. Let's dissect the invisible grief you're carrying, the profound emotional price you pay for these open wounds. You are sacrificing your mystery for a fleeting moment of pity. You feel a constant, gnawing pressure to be seen because you're re-terrified that if you do not express your pain, it doesn't exist. You have traded your inner sanctum for a public stage. This is what Carl Jung would call a failure of the persona. You have let the mask slip so far that you've forgotten the mask was there to protect the soul, not to hide it. You are sacrificing your sovereignty for the hollow comfort of belonging to a crowd that only loves you when you are broken. Why? Because a broken person is predictable. A broken person is safe. When you show your wounds, you're telling everyone in the room, don't worry, I'm not a threat. See how much I'm hurting? It's a pathetic plea for mercy in a world that doesn't have any. You are haunted by the fear of being cold, so you set yourself on fire in public just to feel the warmth of their gaze. You've made your simple life moments complex because every emotion now requires an audience. This is the grief of the exposed. The silent realization that once you've shared your pain with everyone, it no longer belongs to you. You've turned your most intimate suffering into public property. Why do you do it? Because you're weak. You're too weak to carry the weight of your own shadows. So you try to distribute the load to strangers. You think your honesty is a bridge. It isn't. It's a roadmap for your future replacement. When you show anger in public, you show what triggers you. When you show sadness, you show what breaks you. When you show fear, you show where to strike. In the high-stakes game of human interaction, information is the only real currency. By being vulnerable, you're effectively giving away your bank details to a room full of hackers and wondering why your account is empty. Every tear you shed in public is a drop of blood that leads the wolf straight to your throat. The strategic law is this: the only safe emotion is the one they never saw coming. In the Shadow Mind Lab, we don't believe in processing emotions in the light. We believe in weaponizing them in the dark. If you are angry, use that heat to forge a sharper blade, but keep your face as cold as a winter morning. If you are grieving, let that sorrow become the fuel for your next campaign, but never let them see the smoke. An emotional outburst is like a grenade with the pin pulled. It might hurt your enemy, but it's definitely going to destroy your own hand. A sovereign individual understands that their internal state is a redacted file. If the world can't read you, they can't rewrite you. You see, being vulnerable is like a bank, leaving its vault open because it wants the customers to know it has nothing to hide. It's a lovely sentiment, right up until the first person walks in with a bag. The bank doesn't stay in business because it's honest. It stays in business because it's secure. Stop being a human interest story. If you want to be the one who controls the room, You must be the only one in the room who isn't performing for it. Your emotions are your private garden. Don't let the public trample the flowers just because you wanted someone to notice the scent. Are you beginning to feel the draft? That's the feeling of your transparency. Letting the cold in. Or are you still too busy crying for the camera to realize the audience left an hour ago? 3. The jester's debt. Oversharing humor or wit. Machiavelli knew that the most dangerous man in the room is the one who says nothing while everyone else is talking, but he also understood the utility of the mask. In The Prince, he didn't advise being the loudest person at the banquet. He advised being the most calculated. He knew that the moment you become the source of everyone's amusement, you cease to be a source of their fear. To be the life of the party is to sign a contract that says you are willing to be the help. But look at you. You crave the sound of laughter. You enter a room and immediately start looking for the opening, the chance to drop a joke, to show off your wit, to be the charismatic one. You believe that if you can make people laugh, you can make them like you. You think your humor is a bridge to influence. It's pathetic, really. You think you're Oscar Wilde. In reality, you're just a court jester who's forgotten that the king only keeps the fool around because he is too insignificant to be a threat. Being the funny guy isn't a power move. It's a debt you're paying to the room. You're performing for free, providing entertainment to people who would not give you the time of day if you were not making them chuckle. You've confused attention with authority. You think they're laughing with you, but they are actually just relieved that you are the one debasing yourself for their amusement so they do not have to. Let's look at the invisible grief of the jester's debt, the profound emotional cost of being the entertainer. You are sacrificing your gravitas for a handful of social crumbs. You feel a constant, frantic pressure to be on. This is the grief of the performer, the realization that your presence is only valued as long as you are providing a service. You have made your simple social interactions complex, because you have convinced yourself that silence is failure. You are haunted by the fear of being seen as boring, so you cannibalize your own dignity for a punchline. You've sacrificed the possibility of being respected for the certainty of being fun. Why? Because respect is heavy. Respect requires you to hold space, to be formidable, to be silent. Humor is light. Humor is an escape. You're too weak to carry the weight of a quiet room, so you fill it with noise. You've turned your wit into a shield. But you haven't realized that while you're busy being the jester, the people in the shadows are moving the chess pieces. This is the ultimate sacrifice. You've traded the crown for the bells on your hat, and you're wondering why no one takes your ambitions seriously. Why do you do it? Because you're desperate for a connection you haven't earned. You think your sarcasm is a sign of intelligence. It isn't. Sarcasm is just the virtue of the cynical weakling. A way to criticize the world without having the courage to change it. Every time you make a self-deprecating joke, you aren't being relatable. You're just providing your enemies with a list of your insecurities, wrapped in a bow. In the hierarchy of the shadow, the solver never jokes about things that matter. Humor is a tool for misdirection, not a personality trait. If you're the wit of the office, you're the person they invite to the lunch, but never to the board meeting. They'll share a beer with the jester, but they'll only share power with the silent. The strategic law is this: which should be a scalpel, not a parade. In the Shadow Mind Lab, we use humor as a weapon of precision, not a firework display. If you must use wit, use it to expose someone else's weakness, never your own. Use it to derail an opponent's argument, then immediately return to a state of cold, unreadable silence. The moment they start expecting a joke from you, you've lost. The house doesn't tell jokes, it just takes the money. A jester is someone who is paid in laughter. A sovereign is someone who is paid in land, loyalty, and fear. You can't be both. If you're busy making sure everyone is having a good time, you aren't the one in charge of the time. You see, being the funny guy is like being a waiter who thinks he is part of the dinner party because he gets to taste the wine. You're not a guest. You're the staff. And the moment the bottle is empty, you're dismissed. Stop being the room's favorite distraction. If you want to outsmart the manipulators, you have to be the person who makes them uncomfortable with your silence. Let them fill the air with their nervous chatter. Let them be the ones desperate for a laugh. You just sit there and watch the clock. Are you starting to feel the weight of those bells on your head? Or are you too busy thinking of your next comeback to realize you are the only one still laughing? You're still here. Interesting. most people would have retreated to a feel-good podcast by now. If you're the type who prefers the cold truth over a warm lie, you might belong in the Shadow Mind Lab. Subscribe. Or don't. The world needs prey just as much as it needs predators. Let's see which one you choose to be before Law 4 begins. 4. The Mirror of Contempt. Reacting to disrespect. Machiavelli understood that the masses are governed by their passions, but the prince is governed by his interests. He famously wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, but he never suggested being annoyed. To Machiavelli, to react to an insult was to admit that the person insulting you has the power to move your internal needle. It's an admission that you are, in some small way, their subordinate. But look at you. You're principled, aren't you? You believe in standing up for yourself. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when a waiter is rude, or when a colleague takes a passive-aggressive swipe at your work, you feel that heat rise in your chest. You believe that defending your honor is a virtue. You think that by shouting back or winning the argument, you've restored your status. It's hilarious. You think you're a lion roaring at a hyena. In reality, you're just a dog barking at a passing car. You think your outrage makes you look strong. It actually makes you look like a thermostat. Anyone can walk into the room, turn your dial, and watch you get hot. Being offended is just a polite way of saying you've given a stranger a remote control to your nervous system. You are not defending your honor. You are just revealing that your ego is so fragile it can be bruised by a person whose name you won't remember in 3 weeks. Let's talk about the invisible grief of the mirror of contempt. The profound emotional cost of your principles. You are sacrificing your peace for a moment of hollow dominance. You feel a constant, exhausting pressure to correct the world. This is the grief of the watchman. The belief that if you don't punish every slight, you've lost. You have made your simple life moments complex because you have turned every public interaction into a potential duel. You are haunted by the fear of being seen as weak, so you overcompensate with aggression. You have sacrificed the strategic advantage of being underestimated for the ego-driven need to be respected. Why? Because true strength is quiet. True strength is a heavy door that doesn't creak. You're too weak to absorb a blow without swinging back. So you spend your life in a series of petty skirmishes that drain your energy and reveal your tactics. You've turned your life into a mirror that reflects the ugliness of everyone you meet. This is the ultimate sacrifice. You've traded your focus for justice, and you're wondering why you're too tired to build a kingdom. You're so busy winning the fight that you've forgotten to win the war. Why do you do it? Because you're desperate for the world to acknowledge your existence. You think your anger is a weapon? It's not. It's a leak. When you react to disrespect, you provide an information buffet for the manipulators. You show them exactly what offends you, how much pressure it takes to make you snap, and what your breaking point looks like. In the architecture of the shadow, disrespect isn't an insult, it's an invitation to collect data. If someone insults you and you don't blink, they become the one who is anxious. They start wondering why their weapon didn't work. They start wondering if you're so far above them that their voice does not even reach your ears. The strategic law is this. Contempt is a dish best served as a blank stare. In the Shadow Mind Lab, we don't react. We calculate. If someone disrespects you in public, don't argue. Don't defend. Don't even acknowledge the content of their words. Instead, look at them with the same detached curiosity you'd use to look at a bug on a windshield. Give them nothing. No anger, no defensiveness, not even a frown. Reacting to a fool makes you a peer. Ignoring a fool makes you a god. When you refuse to mirror their energy, you force them to sit in the silence of their own stupidity. It's like watching someone try to start a fire with 2 wet sticks. Eventually, they'll get embarrassed and stopped. You see, getting into an argument in public is like wrestling a pig in the mud. After an hour, you realize that you're both covered in filth, but the pig is actually enjoying it. The manipulator wants the reaction. They want the drama. It's the only way they feel powerful. Stop being the pig's playmate. If you want to outsmart them, you have to be the person who is emotionally unhackable. Your dignity isn't something someone can take from you. It's something you give away the moment you open your mouth to defend it. Are you starting to feel the chill of your own silence? That's the feeling of power returning to its source. Or are you still too busy thinking of the perfect comeback to realize that the most powerful thing you can say is absolutely nothing? 5. The Judas tongue. The public confession. Machiavelli's most enduring lesson wasn't about being mean. It was about being a mystery. He warned that a prince should never lack legitimate reasons to color over his failure to keep his word. He knew that in the game of power, the truth is not a cleansing light, it's a tactical vulnerability. To Machiavelli, the man who tells the truth simply because it is true is a man who has run out of ammunition. He is a man who has surrendered his greatest weapon, the ability to be whoever he needs to be. But look at the world today. We are drowning in a sea of vulnerability porn. You've been told that honesty is the best policy. You believe that if you confess your sins, share your trauma, or admit your failures in public, you are being authentic. You think your truth will set you free. It's charmingly suicidal. You think you're healing? In reality, you're just providing the world with a manual on how to dismantle you. A public confession isn't an act of integrity. It's a social striptease, performed by people who are too insecure to be a mystery. You're handing out the keys to your vault and acting surprised when the gold goes missing. You think your honesty is a shield? No. Honesty is just a polite word for a lack of imagination. It's like a soldier handing his enemy a map of his own minefield and asking for a fair fight. There is no fair in shadow. There is only the survivor and the statistic. Let's talk about the invisible grief of the Judas tongue, the profound emotional price you pay for your honesty. You are sacrificing your future potential for a moment of temporary relief. You feel a constant, suffocating pressure to be understood. This is the grief of the transparent, the realization that once you've told everyone who you are no longer allowed to change. You have locked yourself in a prison of your own making, built from the bricks of your honest words. You are haunted by the fear of being found out, so you choose to find yourself out first. You have sacrificed the strategic power of the unknown for the pathetic safety of being consistent. Why? Because a mystery is a threat. A mystery requires people to be careful around you. You're too weak to be a threat, so you choose to be a book. You want to be relatable, not realizing that relatable is just a synonym for manageable. You have turned your most intimate failures into dinner party anecdotes because you are too cowardly to carry them alone. This is the ultimate sacrifice. You've traded your sovereignty for a support system, and you're wondering why no one fears your next move. You've given them the blueprint of your soul, and you're surprised they're building a highway over it. Why do you do it? Because you're desperate for absolution. You think your Judas tongue is purging your sins. It isn't. It's just feeding the wolves. In the architecture of the shadow, a confession isn't a release of guilt. It's a transfer of power. The moment you tell someone your secret, they don't see your humanity. They see your leverage. In the animal kingdom, the creature that makes the most noise is the one that's caught in the trap. The silence of the predator is its greatest strength. If you tell people your truth, you are giving them the power to redefine it. You are letting them decide whether you are a hero or a villain, a victim or a predator. The strategic law is this: the truth is a luxury. Silence is a fortress. In the Shadow Mind Lab, we don't confess, we recolor. If you've made a mistake, you don't admit it. You fix it in the dark and present a different reality to the light. If you have a weakness, you don't share it. You bury it under 3 layers of misdirection and a wall of effortless competence. Your past is a closed file. Your truth is whatever you decide to tell the world today to get what you want tomorrow. A sovereign individual knows that their word is a weapon, and you don't fire your weapon just to hear the noise. You fire it to hit a target. If the truth doesn't serve the strategy, the truth is a liability. You see, a public confession is like a bank giving away its security codes, because it wants the robbers to know it's doing the work on its internal culture. The robbers don't care about your culture. They just want the money. Stop being your own Judas. If you want to outsmart the manipulators, you have to be the person who is impossible to know. Let them speculate. Let them guess. Let them build their theories on the sand of your silence. You just keep moving in the shadows, where the truth can't hurt you, because the truth is whatever you say it is. Are you starting to feel the weight of all those honest words you've spoken? That's the feeling of the chains tightening. Or are you still too busy speaking your truth to realize that the truth is the only thing that's going to hang you? We're done here. You've spent your life being good, honest, and approachable. And look where it's gotten you. You're tired. You're overlooked. and you're being managed by people who have half your talent and none of your morality. You have a choice. You can walk back out into that world and continue being the open book that everyone reads and no one respects. You can keep being vulnerable until there's nothing left of you to hurt. Or you can join the few who understand that power isn't about being seen. It's about being the one who does the seeing. You can start building your fortress today. You can stop being the prey and start being the architect of the shadows. If you want the blueprint, you know where to find us. Subscribe to the Shadow Mind Lab, or stay out in the light. It makes it much easier for us to find you. Class, dismiss.